first heard about the work on YouTube, actually. It was about, I think, 11 or 12 years ago. And I came across the name Byron Katie. And I was like, who's this person? But she never really caught my attention because her work sounded boring. Like I was talking about neighbors and people and man and woman and husband and wife and parents. And I thought that I was above that already. And so I didn't really care for the work until a few more years later when I was deeply suffering. And I remember I lived in a condo at that point, and in the middle of the night, or even during the evening times, I would be afraid to get close to the windows, to the balcony windows, because back then, where I lived, the balcony windows were overlooking this large open field. And then in the middle of that field was a tiny shack. And so I was afraid to get close to the windows because I thought a sniper was in that shack waiting for me to get close so that they would snipe my head. And so there was that. And there was also, that was also the time when I was so ashamed of who I was that, whoever I come across during the day, I would think that they would be defiled by my presence. And so I was deeply suffering. And then, at the time I was interested in all the non-dual stuff as well. And so that didn't really help because I was using my mind to understand what all that was. And so fast forward a few more years, and then I came across one of her older tapes, and this one was called The Dream of Enlightenment. And this was the tape that actually got me into all things related to Byron Katie, because it spoke to me, because she was using the language that I could understand. I mean, it was English, but but it was something that I was interested in. And so so that got me into all her tapes, her recordings, her videos, and I listened to everything she had from day to night, from breakfast to bedtime for about 2 or 3 years. And then I finally started to try to do the work. And at first it was difficult because I couldn't come up with any other related judgments. And so I was very stifled in my own expression of how much I was judging other people. And then I remember praying to God, whoever you believe God to be, that it would help me with judging other people. So I was very repressed in my expressions. And around that time, I also was part of a few online groups. It was COVID time, and wonderful people. They were able to facilitate every Tuesday, and that really helped me with refining my understanding of the work and how I could apply it to my own life. And then, where am I now? Well, and then I guess now I skipped a lot just now, but now I find that the work is something that can help me ground what I thought was non-dual, the non-dual teachings, into a more practical and real experience. And so it's no longer something that I have to constantly think about or to use it to defend myself against the world and other people. But it's something that I can use to get in touch with my own being on a deeper level. And how I do that is actually just by using the 4 questions of the work and the turnarounds, And again, the four questions are: is it true? Can you absolutely know that it's true? How do I react when I believe the thought? And who would I be without the thought? And then the turnarounds. And I noticed that whenever I answer each of those questions, it opens me to a space of what I can call non-duality. And it's the openness, the curiosity, and the interest. Maybe actually, let's delete the word interest, but it's the openness and curiosity that that feels like what I was looking for in diving into the non-dual teachings back then. And so it's no longer something that is transcendent. It's no longer something that I have to run after or chase after or to use it as a sort of shield. It's something that comes naturally when I open myself to these questions. And so, I'm no longer rejecting the mundane world. Actually, in fact, it's not so mundane. It's actually in what I used to call the mundane reality that the transcendent is actually present. And so that's my story.